Alright, so word problems using addition, subtraction, and fractions. So I have off to the side my reminder of my steps for working with the adding, subtracting fractions. So that my denominators must be equal. I'm adding, subtracting the numerators. I have to simplify, and a reminder that I'm not using calculators for this unit. I also have my cube strategy for solving word problems. So I'm going to start by circling the key numbers, underlining the question, boxing any math action words, eliminating extra information, and solving and checking. So double checking, does my answer make sense? So let's work on our first word problem. So if Luke orders pizza for his friends and him, they order 3 pizzas in total. Luke eats half a pizza, his friend Daniel eats a quarter, and the girls eat 1 3/4 between them. How much pizza is left? So starting with our cubes strategy, we're going to circle the key numbers. So we have that they ordered 3 pizzas in total, that the girls ate 1 3/4 between them, and we have 2 other numbers in here too that are hidden because they're written out in words. So we have Luke eats half a pizza, which is 1/2, and we have Daniel eats a quarter of a pizza, which is 1/4. I'm going to underline the question. So the question I'm trying to figure out is how much pizza is left. I'm going to box any math action words. So in this question, I don't have action words like add this, subtract that, multiply, and so on, but I do have this math action word, in total. So in total means either I am adding amounts together to find a sum, a total, or I'm starting with a total and taking amounts away from it. In this case, I'm starting with a total amount of 3 pizzas, and I'll be subtracting the amounts that the other people eat to come up with how much pizza is left. My E is to eliminate the extra information. I don't have extra information in this question. That would be things like Luke orders pizza at 7 p.m. Well, it doesn't really matter what time Luke orders the pizza at. It doesn't affect what is remaining. So now I'm on to solving and checking. So just like I did in algebra, I'm going to start with my let statements. I am going to create an algebraic expression for solving my problem. And then I'm going to substitute my values in and solve. So let's start. So have let P represent the amount of pizza left. Let T represent the amount of pizza ordered. Let D represent the amount of pizza Daniel ate. Let L represent the amount of pizza Luke ate. And let G represent the amount of pizza the girls ate. So it's time to write out my expression. So I'm trying to find P. That's what I'm trying to solve for, is P. Okay, so P represents the amount of pizza left. I know that I'm going to start with T, my total amount. I'm going to subtract the amount Luke ate, subtract the amount Daniel ate, and subtract the amount the girls ate. I know these 4 values. So I know T equals 3. I know Luke ate half a pizza, so L equals 1/2. I know Daniel ate 1/4 of a pizza, so D equals 1/4, and G is equal to 1 3/4. I'm now going to show my line substituting these values in. So I have P equals 3, subtract 1/2, subtract 1/4, subtract 1 3/4. I can now solve and do the subtraction and solve. So working with fractions, I need to have equivalent denominators on the bottom. Right now, I'm going to focus on first changing this whole number into a fraction form and changing this mixed number into a normal fraction. So it'll end up being an improper fraction because the numerator will be greater than the denominator. So any whole number is a number over 1. 1 represents that we have a whole amount. So I haven't divided it into any parts. Remember, our denominator tells us how many parts are in the whole. So this 1 whole means I haven't divided into any parts. So 3 over 1 would mean that I have 3 whole pizzas. I'm subtracting 1/2, subtract 1/4, and now I have the amount of 1 and 3/4. So I have 1 whole and 3/4. So that's if my 1 wholes are divided into 4 parts each. In one of those, 1 whole has 4, and I have 3 in addition to those 4. So I have 7 quarters. In 1 and 3/4, I have 7 quarters. An easy way to figure this out is take your whole number, the 1, multiply by the denominator 4, so that gives me 4, 1 times 4 is 4, and add the numerator. So I'm going to add the extra amount of 3 on top. So that's 7. 7 out of 4. 7 out of 4. My next step, I need to have a common denominator. So I have 1, 2, and 4. I'm not so worried about my 1 because I can multiply my 3 over 1 by any value to change my denominator. So let's look at the 2 and the 4. I know that 2 goes into 4 twice. So if I multiply 2, my denominator 2 by 2, it'll end up being 4. So let's multiply this fraction by 2 to make it so it's over 4. Which means my first one, I'm going to multiply by 4 to make it a denominator of 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract 1/4. Subtract 7/4. Now, my denominators are all the same. So I can focus now on subtracting my numerators. So I'm starting with 12. I'm going to subtract 2, then 1, then 7. 12 subtract 2 is 10. Subtract 1 is 9. Subtract 7 is 2. So I have 2/4 are remaining. I'm going to simplify this. These are both even numbers, so I can divide them both by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2, so 1/2. So I am left with 1/2 as being my answer. So let's check. Is this correct? So I'm looking at my values. The girls ate 1 3/4. Daniel ate 1/4. Those two amounts combined gives me 2 wholes. Luke ate 1/2. So that's 2 and 1/2. So if I have 3, subtract 2 and 1/2, that's 1/2. So my answer is correct. I'm going to write my therefore statement because it is a word problem. So therefore, 1/2 of the pizza remains. For full marks, you need to show me your answer. Simplifying if you need to simplify, your work, your substitution, your knowledge of the values, your expression, your let statements, and your sentence answer.